welcome to my first ever YouTube video. My name's Bree, and today we're going to be doing a speed build of a cozy little suburban bungalow. This bungalow is actually heavily inspired by some real bungalows that are in my neighborhood. There's a bunch of new homes that are going up all around me, and every day I'm inspired to either recreate them exactly in The Sims or just use them as inspiration to create some like I'm doing in this video. So here I'm actually just playing around with the layout and the exterior and what the roof is going to look like. This isn't necessarily copying an exact floor plan of a real home. I kind of just used the homes in my neighborhood as inspiration to build this, although the floor plan inside I'm sure is very similar to some actual homes out there as well. I will try to find some floor plans that look kind of similar to this one, but for now I'm just playing around with it and trying to recreate some familiar homes in my neighborhood. I actually really love the style of these newer build homes. I like how they are sort of modern, but they also maintain that classic look of a home. I do like those like boxier modern homes. I think they're really cool, but there's just something about a classic looking home and one that has some modern features as well, and more of a modern floor plan. I like to have more of like an open concept living area and like a nice little entranceway and maybe a mud room and a little powder room off the entrance or off the garage. Speaking of garages, so you'll see in a little bit, the garage in this build is not the best, I will admit. I've kind of played around with different ways of creating garages. I know there's a bunch of tutorials out there as well, and I think there's some that you can download actually directly from the Sims 4 Gallery. So I tried my best here. I'm not super happy with the way that this garage turned out, but it's okay. Other than the garage, I'm happy with the way that the rest of the house turned out, so that's great. I find I really like to make garages in The Sims, even though there really isn't a need for them necessarily. But I do like to build garages. I just find it looks really cute from the outside, and I do like to style them, or furnish them rather, as a real garage. So I'll put some little debug cars in there. And I'll put some hobby items, so like a workbench or something like that. I just find it's pretty realistic. I feel like people actually have little workbenches and stuff like that in their garages. And I just really like it. It's a little room in The Sims that you can kind of leave as a garage. You don't need to get too creative with styling it. But that being said, you can always use the garage space as a bonus room, as an extra room of any kind that you would like. I just like to keep it as a garage. The weird thing about using garages in The Sims as an actual room is I find they're just a really large space. And I find larger spaces to be way more difficult to furnish than smaller, cozier spaces. So typically, like, I will hardly ever do big mansions in The Sims. I find they're just really difficult for me to think of floor plans and to decorate all that space. It's a lot. I definitely like cozier little homes, even like single family suburban homes, maybe like 3 or 4 bedrooms, but I like when they're a little bit more kind of condensed, if that makes sense, in the floor plan. I find that one, it's easier for me to furnish, and I just find it's a lot more realistic than having these humongous rooms. But also for gameplay, it just makes gameplay that much more easier. You don't need to flip between a whole bunch of different floors. You also don't need to pan from one end of the lot to the other to find your Sims. I just find overall it's way easier for gameplay. Plus they don't take forever to get to wherever you need them to be. So here I'm just playing around with the floor plan a little bit. I wanted it to be a 2-bedroom. I did end up putting a basement in. It's an unfinished basement, so you can kind of furnish it however you'd like. One of the rooms in the basement I feel like could be used as an extra bedroom, but you could use it as an office or a gym or whatever you'd like to use it for. But on the main floor here, I'm putting the master bedroom towards the back of the home with an ensuite, and then in the front of the home there's a smaller room which I ended up furnishing it as a small bedroom, but you could also easily use it as a like an office or something like that. I kind of picture the people who would buy this house to be an older couple. Maybe they're recently retired or they're planning on retiring soon. Maybe they have a kid, maybe not, but they want an extra room to use as like a guest room or an office. Maybe they have a little side business or something like that. So I kind of like to picture the people who will be potentially moving into these homes as I'm creating them and designing them. I do also really like to create homes as a move-in ready home. I more or less like to pretend that I'm like a house builder and I'm building these homes for someone to move into. They're brand new homes and they'll be, moving all their furnishings in here and decorating it and making their own. So that being said, when you do actually move into a new home in real life, 9 times out of 10, I'd say hopefully more than that, there's going to be, appliances, there's going to be countertops, there's going to be all of your bathroom items like your shower, toilet, and everything like that will be in there. The only thing is that it won't be necessarily painted to the colors that you want it to be, and it won't be furnished with your furnishings, obviously. So I'd like to upload these to the gallery as move-in ready homes with a full kitchen with appliances and all the bathrooms set up as well. I actually didn't have laundry day installed, so I wanted to create a little laundry room in that mudroom off the garage, but I realized I didn't have it installed. I recently got a new computer and I've been re-downloading The Sims 4 for the goodness knows how many times now. So I decided not to keep it as a laundry room, although you easily could if you have laundry day. I think that's what the expansion pack is called. I think it's laundry day. Either way, so the home is, according to The Sims, it's furnished because there's countertops and toilets and showers and stuff like that in there. But in reality, it's not furnished because I have not uploaded it to the gallery with any kind of furniture in it. That being said, if you do want me to upload the furnished version to the gallery, please let me know in the comments. Or send me a message or comment on one of my posts on Instagram and let me know, and I will gladly upload the furnished versions as well. I just really like these move-in ready homes, and I feel like people will kind of make the home their own anyways, which is the whole fun of Sims. But if you do want to see some furnished versions up on the gallery, just let me know and I will do that. So here I'm just adding in the kitchen. It's a little bit dark, so I'm adding in some pot lights. I like to include pot lights in the kitchen. I just feel like that's something that, most homes that I've kind of seen recently have that, and it just makes everything so bright. And then I do also like to include like a decorative light over the island as well. I really love including islands. I just find it's just so cute and modern, and in my future home, I would love to have an island. I actually have an island in the home that we're in now, but it's pretty small. So I would love to have an island that's a little bit bigger, and maybe one that has like a stove in the middle or something like that. I find that's really cool. Although when I kind of think about it, having a stove in the middle of an island, I feel like that could be kind of messy. So maybe not. Maybe I would just want a kitchen just like the one that I made here. Just cute L-shaped kitchen with an island in the middle. I really like to have those that little ledge on the island so that people can sit and eat. We are just 2 people in my actual home, and we often won't even eat at the dining table. We'll just eat at the island because it's so easy. And I feel like The Sims do that as well. If there's a little island and it's close enough, they'll just eat at the island instead of eating at the dining table. So I think that's kind of neat. It's kind of realistic. So here I'm just making a very basic basement. I decided to leave it unfurnished because I feel like most new build homes, I might be wrong in that, but most new build homes, you're gonna get them either totally like no walls built at all. Maybe it's just like a concrete basement, and then it's up to you to design it and put in walls and stuff like that. Or you would get it just very basic with the walls, and then like with the walls up, the drywall up, and then it would be up to you to paint the walls and everything else. So In this build, the version that's up on the gallery, the basement is basically just as you saw it there. It is empty, and there is, I don't even think I put paint on the wall, to be honest. So here I'm just adding in the bathrooms, pretty basic. Most homes do come with like a toilet paper holder and a mirror. I think they're called builder's mirrors, or maybe that's just a colloquial term, but basically they're just like these standard mirrors that are included with new homes. So obviously you can delete those or sell them or whatever and add in whatever kind of decorative mirror you want to add in there. And I do like to fill up the, well, not the entire lot, but most of the lot. I feel like in real life, if I had a lot, let's say this size, I would want to make the most out of the property that I own. So I would want my backyard to reach out to the end of the property line. So that's why I like to fill up my backyards and put the fences as far as they can go to the end of the property line, just because I feel like it only makes sense. No sense in owning property if you can't use it. Plus, this isn't a very big backyard anyways. Landscaping has never been something that I've been necessarily that good at when it comes to Sims and building homes. I do like doing it. I think it's really fun. It makes the home look very finished and nice. It makes the backyard look really cute as well. I find I'm just not necessarily the best at landscaping in The Sims, but I do like to usually add some bushes or flowers or what have you in the front of the home. And then I do also like to add a few trees. So usually one in the front and one in the backyard. Again, I just feel like that's pretty realistic. I feel like most homes usually have at least a tree in the front yard, maybe not always the backyard, depending on the home and the area and how big the lot is and everything. But I feel like most homes do have at least one small tree in the front. So as you can see, the garage, it's not looking the best, but it's looking okay. You get the idea. You get that it's supposed to be a garage. I also, for the driveway, I like to use the floor, I think it's called No Drab Slab. I just find it's really dark. It looks like a real paved driveway. I think it looks really nice and crisp. So here I'm just adding in some fences to finish up and again make it a little more realistic. If you have a little front porch or a back deck, usually if it's at least a few steps down, there is like a little railing, so I decided to add those. And here, this is a little extra because usually most new homes that you're moving into, like if it's a brand new build and no one lived there before, usually the backyard is just vacant land. It is just empty grass, or I mean probably grass, maybe dirt, who knows. Hopefully you have some grass back there, but most new builds, when you move in, there is nothing in the backyard. There's no patio, there's no garden, there's nothing. So usually I think in my other builds I will just keep the backyard blank so that you can use it as a blank canvas and design it however you'd like. But here I just got inspired to create a cute little backyard. I don't want to call it an oasis, it's not that great, but a cute little backyard area where the couple or whoever decides to live here can spend their time, relax by a small, cute little pool, and have a little dining area as well if they want to enjoy their backyard in the summer. So here I'm just touching it up. I actually really love to make backyards in The Sims with as little grass as possible, because I feel like in real life, I would love that. I would love a backyard that has not that much grass. Most of it's covered in like patio stones or deck or pool. I just feel like it's way less maintenance. You don't need to cut the grass. Not that you need to cut the grass in Sims or anything like that, but in real life you wouldn't need to cut any grass or very little grass. You wouldn't need a big lawnmower or anything like that, and it would overall be pretty easy to maintain. So I do really like to fill up the backyards as much as I can. And here, so again, the copy that is up on the gallery, it is not furnished, but I got inspired and I wanted to decorate it, and I took some screenshots as well just to showcase some examples of how you could decide to furnish the home. Again, these are just suggestions. This is just how I wanted to furnish the home. You can definitely furnish it however you would like. I'd actually be really curious to see how you guys decide to furnish this little bungalow or my other move-in ready builds that are up on the gallery. I only have a few, but I would love to see how you guys furnish them. I haven't really used the Sims gallery, to be honest. I've been playing Sims since 2004, and I haven't really taken advantage of the gallery up until recently. I've always just kind of played on my own, but I don't really know where the inspiration came from. I decided one day, why don't I record my gameplay and start sharing my builds and make a YouTube channel? So here I am. Very out of my comfort zone. Video is not something that I'm used to working with. I actually have a background in photography. I've been taking pictures forever. I used to have a small little photography business, and yeah, video is just not something that I'm very familiar with or necessarily great at, but it's all a learning curve, and I'm just here to have fun, share my creations, and get immersed a little bit more in the Sims 4 community. I find it's a huge community, actually way bigger of a community than I ever really thought The Sims was. I mean, I know that The Sims is very popular, but I didn't realize that the online community for The Sims was so big. So it's pretty exciting, and I'm very excited to start sharing some of my builds. You'll find that my style, I guess you could say, in building is very suburban, classic but modern. I like to use and I like to decorate in like neutrals and black and white and natural colors. I don't necessarily like to decorate with very bright and vibrant patterns and colors and stuff like that. It's just not necessarily my style. So much more suburban, classic. I don't really know how else to classify my style. You'll kind of get the gist of it over the next builds that I do, and even this one I think encompasses my style pretty well as well. So here I'm just kind of bouncing around from room to room. I couldn't really decide what exactly I wanted to do. I didn't want to go too crazy with clutter. One, because I knew I wasn't going to be uploading this. I'm kind of just doing this for fun, to be honest, just so you can see how I decided to furnish it. And again, this is saved to my library, so I could upload this to the gallery if there's enough requests for it. But I don't like to really crowd my home with too much clutter. One, because in real life I don't really like a very cluttered home. I do like the Sims homes to look like someone actually lives there, like as if there's, different items, for example, in the kitchen, like for the utensils and stuff like that. I do like to include those items, but I don't like to go overboard with clutter. I just find it makes it look very busy, which I don't necessarily like. I like very clean, tidy spaces. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm, trying to add in some decor, some clutter here and there, adding in some light fixtures, changing up the light fixtures. That's another thing as well, is if you're moving into a real home, usually you'll have some very basic light fixtures that are just kind of put in to the house when it's being built. But of course, when you move in, you can change the light fixtures, like the light that's above the dining table, or the light that's in your bedroom, or the light that's in the entryway. Again, usually you can just go and switch those out very easily. So that's more or less the idea that I had when creating these move-in ready homes, is that all the things that you could change when you're moving into a real home, you could change in this build. So here I'm just fixing up everything. I think soon I'm going to decide to repaint the walls. I like to include just a plain grayish, like a gray or beige paint when building these new builds, because that's usually the paint color that you get when you move into a new home. Honestly, I love the color like gray or beige for wall color. I just find it so neutral. You can decorate the room with almost anything and it will go with it. But I can understand that having white walls all throughout the home can be kind of boring. So honestly, just feel free to decorate the home absolutely how you would like to. Here I'm kind of regretting putting in these shelves. So I really like the look of open shelves and having like books on them, or even having open shelves in the kitchen and then putting some like debug cups and mugs and stuff like that on them. I think it's really cute, and I would love that in a real kitchen. It's just a real pain to do. Like, it's very tedious, and I do love building and I do love decorating, but when it comes to the clutter items, I find it can be very tedious. But I did a few here just to kind of make it look like the space was lived in. So again, this could be like a office space or a kid's room or a gym or really whatever you could fit in here. It's not a very big room, but I think it has enough space that you could make just about anything work. Those shelves that are in there, like along the back of that mudroom, I'm really not a fan of them, honestly. Like, I like the shape of the shelves, but I don't like the color swatches that it comes with. I can't remember where those shelves are from. Like, I don't know. I don't think they're base game. They might be, though. I'm really bad with knowing what items come with which packs, to be frank. But either way, those shelves, like the shape of the shelves, are really cute and I like them. I would just like them way better if they actually came in swatches that I appreciated. But the color swatches that it comes with, I just don't really like it. I don't find it goes with the way that I typically decorate. So I end up deleting those and switching them out with some other shelves in a little bit. I switched them out with those shelves where it's just a shelf and then there's some clothes hanging from it. It's just pretty realistic and simple and easy, and it makes sense to go in that space. Adding in some curtains. I don't actually, one of the things that I always forget to add in my builds is curtains. So I'm actually surprised that I remembered to add some curtains in the bedrooms. That's just, I don't really know why. I mean, maybe because in real life I like to have my windows open like almost all the time except for at night. I just love the natural light. I like when it's bright and sunny. So I don't actually have curtains. We do have blinds, but the blinds are open at like 90% of the time. It's just at night when we're going to bed, or at night if we're like in the kitchen or the living room, we'll close the blinds so that people can't see into our home at night, because that's kind of creepy. But I don't actually have like curtains. I don't know, to be honest. I don't really like the look of curtains. I like the look of curtains in The Sims. I find the curtains I find that the window coverings in The Sims look a lot better as curtains than blinds. I don't know. Like, in real life, I like blinds way better than curtains, but in The Sims, I like to use the curtains way better than using blinds. So I think I'm kind of coming up to the end here soon. I'm just touching up some final exterior things. You'll notice that I do kind of bounce around from building the home, then doing a little bit of the exterior, and then doing the interior, and then doing more of the exterior, and then doing more of the interior. I do bounce around a lot, so I apologize if that is frustrating to watch. That's just how my brain works. I get ideas, and then I will go and do that, and then I'll get more ideas, and then I'll move back inside or back outside. So that's just the way that I function. That's just my workflow when it comes to building homes. And I think at this point I'm just adding in whatever I can to fill in some spaces. I think I thought of putting a toddler pool, and then I realized, oh, there's no toddlers that live here. Well, there could be, but I didn't put in a crib or anything like that, so it just didn't really make sense. I think I just end up leaving it blank, to be honest. Just a blank little grassy spot. Maybe they can sit there and have a picnic on the ground or something. I like to think in terms of function when I'm building. I mean, I feel like most people think that way when they're building, but I don't like to leave too many empty spaces, because I'm thinking, what could that space be used for though? And what would they actually use that space for in real life? I also do like to check how the home looks during all different times. I often will forget to put like outdoor lights and stuff like that, so just so that it looks nice, and then once I start my gameplay I don't need to go back and add in lights because it's way too dark outside, or whatever the case may be. But I feel like everyone has something in The Sims that they forget to put in when building. For me, it's a lot of things, to be honest. I will forget to put in mailboxes, and when I go back into the home, the mailbox is like in the middle of a room somewhere or in the front door or somewhere that it shouldn't be. So mailboxes is something that I do tend to forget. Outdoor lighting is something I do tend to forget, and any kind of window coverings like curtains, blinds, that sort of thing, I do forget a lot. Other than that, I think I'm pretty good at keeping. Anyways, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching and joining along in my first ever YouTube video. Be sure to subscribe and follow me on Instagram. All of my links will be in the description below. Thank you, and see you in the next video.